Assalamualaikum and greeting to the SEDAR 2020 committee and to everyone that watched this presentation video. And this is our paper from for seminar Darul Aman 2020 organized by IPGM Campus Darul Aman Jitra. And before I start my presentation, I would like to express my gratitude to the organizer and the SEDAR committee for giving us a chance to present and share our research finding in this virtual conference. So thank you very much. And the title of our paper is The Virtual Instructional Leadership Behaviors Among Malaysian School Principals During the Movement Control Order. Out with the old, in with the new. So in this title, what we want to highlight is the willingness and the ability of our principals to change. We all know that COVID-19 and MCO have created huge challenges for education sector. But how principals as school leaders turn these challenges into opportunity, and the terms out with the old, in with the new here refers to their willingness to leave traditional practices and explore something new in instructional leadership, especially with the aid of ICT tools. This paper is prepared in collaboration with several researchers from UUM, UMT, and UPM, and I'm Hapini Awang from School of Computing, Universiti Utara, Malaysia. So let's begin with the definition of instructional leadership. The instructional leadership is defined as the management of curriculum and instruction by a school principal. So among the key roles of principal instructional leadership in school are first, to define the school mission and vision, and also to manage the instructional program. It can be in form of monitoring or supervising teaching and learning process, coordinating curriculum, and also monitor student progress. And finally, instructional leadership is also vital in promoting a positive school climate, maybe in terms of providing engaging teaching and learning environment, or providing incentive to teachers and students, or creating a good relationship between school administration, student, teachers, community, and so on. So what is virtual instructional leadership? It is basically a same concept as a conventional instructional leadership, but all the activities involve the use of ICT, whether through social media platform like WhatsApp, Telegram, Facebook, or Twitter, or video conferencing tools like Webex, Zoom, Google Meet, and others. This is a new trend that we have identified, especially during the MCO. And we discovered that video conferencing tools have been widely used to implement instructional leadership among Malaysian principals. Okay, our main objective is to explore the behavior of virtual instructional leadership among principals in Malaysian secondary school. Actually, there are 41 common instructional leadership behaviors as proposed by the previous studies, for example, by Rahimi and Yusri 2017. And this behavior already include some usage of ICT, such as using WhatsApp and Telegram to distribute information. But what we want to highlight in this paper is how Malaysian principals take advantage of ICT to overcome the restriction or challenges or problem caused by COVID-19 and the MCO. And I believe that we are all aware that during the MCO, we have to follow some strict SOP, and we have to obey certain rules. For example, we cannot gather in large number for meeting, and we have to practice physical or social distancing and so on. And because of this, many school routine cannot be done as before COVID-19 struck our country. So the principal as a school leader have to find a way, a solution or alternative to make sure that the school can be operated and teaching and learning still can take place and instructional leadership can be practiced. Our study is purely qualitative study that we conducted in 3 phases. But for preliminary phase, we use behavior checklist to examine the normal instructional leadership behavior that the principal practice even before the MCO. And this phase is very important to examine the new trend of virtual instructional leadership behavior during the MCO. And after getting some idea of principal leadership behavior from the preliminary analysis, we have conducted observation to the selected principals for 48 hours. And during the last phase, which is the interview has been conducted with 8 principals and 2 academicians who's expert in educational leadership. Another important consideration is that all of these phases were conducted with the same goal, which is to investigate the normal practices of instructional leadership and to explore virtual leadership practices among principals during the MCO. Okay, for research finding, the checklist that we used to collect the data during the first phase consisted of both virtual and non-virtual instructional leadership behavior. However, in terms of virtual instructional leadership, we found that there are 2 behaviors that are less popular among principals. These are first, the use of cloud computing platform, which only being practiced by 55.6 principals. And second, to upload student achievement to the school website or portal, 73.3% only. For the observation during second phase, we discovered that there are 7 most practiced virtual instructional leadership behavior, starting from evaluate student co-curricular and co-academic achievement to set a school goal up until equip internet infrastructure and wireless technology in school. Again, please note that all of these behavior are practiced using virtual communication tools, either using social media platform like WhatsApp, Telegram, or Facebook or Twitter, or using video conferencing tools like WebEx, Zoom, MS Teams, or Google Meet or others. Okay, during the last phase, we have conducted a series of interviews with 8 principals and 2 academicians whose their expertise is in the field of educational leadership. And from these interviews, we discovered 3 main themes. Okay, first, internet infrastructure and wireless connection. Second, new medium of virtual communication. And third, virtual instructional leadership behaviors. So in terms of internet infrastructure and wireless connection, we found that all schools have these facilities provided by the government, usually placed in main office or teacher's room or sometimes in computer lab. But some schools face a relatively slow internet connection, especially for those who are located in the rural areas. And for the theme of new medium of visual communication, we discovered that most popular platforms are WhatsApp, Telegram, Twitter, and Facebook. And these are commonly used in communication between school staff, parents, communities, and stakeholders, especially to propagate or to disseminate information, and also for conducting the meeting. And finally, for virtual instructional leadership behavior, we found that principals integrate mobile device technology and other mediums of visual communication, as I mentioned previously. Okay, last but not least, through this study, we have come to a conclusion that principals integrate mobile device technologies and new virtual communication medium in their virtual instructional leadership practices, especially during the MCO. And virtual instructional leadership can be considered as a new normal for the principals during the pandemic of COVID-19. And also, virtual communication technology is useful to promote the community engagement with the school, and we can say that our principles are flexible. Okay, using visual communication medium, it is easier to communicate with school clients like parents or teachers or other school community. And nowadays, everyone has smartphone and internet subscription, so principals can easily reach them without the time or space limitation. And finally, we wish to compliment our dedicated principal for their flexibility and ability to adapt with current COVID-19 pandemic. And they have proved that they are successful in turning the challenges caused by the MCO and the COVID-19 into an opportunity to explore the fruitful benefit offered by the ICT. And we cannot deny that this characteristic of principle is vital to ensure that our school education keep evolving and can catch up with the rapid pace of education demand nowadays. So we have reached the end of the presentation. So if you have any question, you are welcome to contact me using the email provided in our paper. Once again, thank you very much for listening. Assalamualaikum.